David Cameron's resignation is a tragedy for this country. Given the result of the referendum, his decision is understandable, but I believe he went too quickly, and I also believe he should stay. The country is now in crisis. There's no political leadership. People are turning against each other, and what the country needs right now is a statesman. And in his resignation speech, that's exactly what he showed himself to be.
I held nothing back. I was absolutely clear about my belief that Britain is stronger, safer and better off inside the European Union. And I made clear the referendum was about this and this alone, not the future of any single politician, including myself. The British people have made a choice. That not only needs to be respected, but those on the losing side of the argument, myself included, should help to make it work. I love this country, and I feel honoured to have served it. And I will do everything I can in future to help this great country succeed. Thank you very much.
Even Boris Johnson and Michael Gove says Cameron should be remembered as a brave and great leader. But in these extraordinary times, if people can call for a second referendum, I don't think it's too much to call on David Cameron and ask him to reconsider. Your country needs you.
I've never voted Tory in my life, but I've always been quite a fan of David Cameron, so I think he's actually a good, middle-of-the-road Liberal Tory, really.
Yes,
and I have liked some of the things he's done. But he'll go down and be remembered for one thing and one thing only. This is his equivalent of the Iraq War for Blair. It is. And his great mistake was in an attempt to make sure the Tories won the election to say he would have the referendum. He should never have done. Referendum is not a way for deciding these sorts of things. It's a terrible mistake.
Sorry,
and he will only be remembered for that.
Why is it wrong for people to decide their own fate? You've just said referendum
because
is wrong.
Because it's too difficult.
Sorry, the people aren't smart enough.
No, it's
the people aren't smart.
No,
I have to agree with Greg. This decision was too big for the general public, and I'm not saying that they're stupid or anything like that.
Well,
but when you vote for a Prime Minister, you expect him to make these decisions for us. Scottish referendum not being part of the UK, that is a good referendum for the people to decide. But the European Union, the biggest question on Google the following day was, what is the EU? Does that not tell you something?
Honestly,
it doesn't tell you something, but I think that he has been amazing for this country. He got us out of a recession.
Yes.
We were almost bust.
Yes.
I think that if you look back on all the other Prime Ministers, like Brown sold the gold and Blair got us into war, I think he has been the best leader we've had for many generations. That's my thoughts.
But, I mean,
I wish he could come back. I wish people could say, we had it good. Why did we break it? We were good. We were recovering the business of this economy.
It's too late. And in the end, politics is about major decisions.
Yeah.
And if you look back, we remember Anthony Eden. We don't say anything about other than Suez. And we'll look back on Blair. We'll only say about, and this will be. This is the guy who took us out of the EU.
But come on, we're not all perfect. I mean, are you perfect in your job?
No,
are you perfect in your job?
Major
issues. He made some errors. He's not perfect. He's a human being. But I think he loved this country, and I think he did a good job. And it would be great if he could just come back, but that's not going to happen.
I think all of us, certainly when we first saw the Prime Minister with his catch in his voice at the end there, you had to have a heart of stone not to feel for them. And in fact, I noticed you did even now, and you're not necessarily a signed-up fan. But he doesn't even have the confidence of his own party now. And he did achieve a lot, and Greg's absolutely... Along with Nick Clegg, to put that coalition government together...
So who do you think would do a better job?
I honestly don't know at the moment. Probably maybe Gove, maybe Johnson, maybe May. I've no damn idea. But there's just no mandate for him. He had to go... And where Greg is right, and suspending which way I voted... He is the man who allowed a dust-up in his own backyard, the Conservative Party, to define the future of Britain's relationship with Europe and, indeed, possibly the future of the United Kingdom. And that was his handling. So you are right there, Greg.
It's a big
would do a better job.
Well, believe it or not, I actually agree with Nick on this one. I think that, Cameron should have shown real leadership. When UKIP did as well as they did in the European elections, he should have then actually analysed why. And if he had done that and discovered with everything that Michelle
Yeah.
was talking, how working class people were feeling in this country, and addressed those issues as opposed to austerity cuts, we wouldn't be in this place.
We wouldn't have needed a referendum.
We wouldn't have needed a
I
referendum.
don't think he would have resigned as well
me,
if he stepped back and let both sides do the campaigning.
He had to go. The fact that he got us into this mess meant he had to go. And throughout this campaign, I completely agreed with David Cameron. You know, I am not a David Cameron supporter, but for the Remain campaign, I was. And I was so impressed by how he ran the campaign. I thought he showed real leadership. But at the end of the day, with the result that we got, even if we had won, he still had to go. Because we shouldn't have been in this place. We should not have had a referendum.
Look, everyone
in the
has
first
voted
place.
now, and we've got to go
But if I
onwards
had
and
to
upwards.
choose, I'm not a Conservative, so, you know, my opinion means nothing. But if I had to choose, I would choose Theresa May, because that is a grown-up. We need somebody with a steady head to help get us out of this mess.
I agree. I'm a business person. I take risks every day. And we've got to go on with it now, onwards and upwards. But I am petrified about what's about to happen, because I don't think that... You know, we've voted. It's the unknown. What's going to happen next?
So, Michelle,
I really think business is going to have a massive impact.
So you talk about business. Let me ask you this, because I was with you. So on, I think it was Friday morning when Cameron resigned, my first thought was, what are you doing? You've got us into this mess. You can't just, like, abandon us now. And that was my initial thought. I was with you. I was thinking, you've got to stay, you've got to see it through. But then when I stepped back and I thought about it, I thought, actually, that's just not possible. So, as you said, you're in business. If you imagine that you've got a business, a huge business that's responsible for so much.
Millions of
jobs.
jobs.
And then you've got a CEO at the top of that doesn't agree with a decision that's just been made. You wouldn't want that CEO to take that business into that next chapter if he or she was fundamentally opposed to the direction of travel that you have to go into. It would make no sense. So we're talking about business, and if you literally stripped it back, you would need someone at the helm who truly agreed with the direction of travel and was passionate and was going to do the right thing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you also listen to your people as well. No, so I think he would have said, well, the people have voted this way, and I think he would adjust to it and he would do the best interest. At the end of the day, he loves our country, and that's it. But let me just tell you something. I'm in the manufacturing business. Well, I sold Ultimo last year. And our CTPs, our critical time paths, are 9 months. OK? So in manufacturing, you're not going to see the impact of all of this. When you're starting to sell to France, to Germany and everything else, we're not going to see the impact until the CTP, the next year, when you get the manufacturing orders in, you're not going to see any of it. And that's when the real problems are going to start.
But if you come back to the Tory party, I mean, I've long believed the Tory party should have split a long time ago over Europe. It's such a big issue, and instead he called a referendum. Instead of saying, look, there are two parties here, let's have, big issues should split political parties.
I agree.
And as the Labour Party, I suspect will split in the next few months. So big issues should split political parties. The Tories tried to hold it all together, and Cameron tried to hold it all together by having a referendum.
OK, June, so who do you think should take over?
I think we need someone to steady the ship. I want a grown-up, Theresa May.
OK, and Nick?
I would suggest Roy Hodgson or Glenn Hoddle in a caretaker role.
OK, Michelle?
Probably Theresa May.
OK, and Greg?
Well, I'd rather it was nobody from the Conservative Party. But given that it's likely to be one of them, and given that, I'm glad that Boris isn't there, I suspect it will be Theresa May.
Yeah, I have to agree.